Hey everybody, it's mdallman here, Meeting Planner's Best Friend. Thanks for joining my 6th Facebook Live event here on May 1st. Happy May Day. And obviously the first thing I want to do is make sure to thank all of the hospital workers, all the first responders, and all the people that help us get through our daily lives here. Thank you for everything you do. It is truly appreciated. And today I want to talk about our hoteliers. I know we've talked about meeting planners, we've talked about contracts, and we've gone through a lot of different scenarios. We've talked about force majeure a couple billion times, but today it's about our hotel friends and our hotel partners. I have a 20-year hotel background myself and worked in 14 hotels and moved 9 times, so I can feel the just the desperation and the uncertainty that a lot of our hotel partners are going through. So I wanted to kind of dedicate this Facebook Live call to them. The thing I wanted to talk about really is life moving forward, kind of hotel life moving forward. And hopefully we're going to have some of our hotel guests here on the line. We've connected with a couple of directors of sales to kind of get their input, get their suggestions. And obviously tell us a lot of funny stories because there's a lot of directors of sales and general managers and people that are doing a lot of things that they're not used to doing. So, but thank you to all of our hotel salespeople, whether you've been furloughed or if you're a director of sales on the front lines, basically doing the jobs of 10 of your sales managers. We appreciate you and we thank you. So, okay, the state of the industry this week. I think a couple points I wanted to make this week. One of the good things is actually one of my brand new clients that watched our first Facebook Live call about 6 weeks ago. We got her out of a $1 million attrition situation for a June program coming up. So that was exciting. I helped another client rebook another meeting in Washington, D.C. with no cancellation charges. We were able to take care of that. We were able to reduce cancellation charges for another client up in the Napa area. And we got that completed this week. So it's been a week of really helping finalize a lot of these great deals from the hoteliers or from the clients that have sent us their hotel contracts for review and negotiation and helping move forward. So a lot of really positive things were closed this week. So that's very exciting. A couple other things that came up this week. Obviously, the Indianapolis or Visit Indy, they're called, put out a great promotion this week with no rooms attrition for any meetings booked in 2020. It's not for all their hotels, but it's for a majority of their properties in the downtown Indianapolis area. And I think you're going to see this across the board. You're going to see a lot of these bureaus and hotel partners starting to step up together to put these type of promotions together. I was happy. I was even working with our good friends over at the Radisson Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. I was able to book a program there for this August with no attrition and a cancellation up until 4 days prior. So there's a lot of great deals out there. So make sure that you're looking for them. Make sure you're asking for them. Because again, there's some great hotel partners that are really taking care of us and really offering some fantastic deals out there. The next thing is just all the cleaning programs that have come out. So we've seen Hilton come out with their program, their Clean Stay program. They're obviously working with Lysol and the Mayo Clinic to put their program together. They also have some cute little room seals that they put on the doors before you actually get into the room. So that was interesting to see. Also, Marriott came out with their cleanliness program where they're talking about their electrostatic sprayers, where they spray down the rooms. They also have disinfecting wipes in all their rooms. So I think you're going to see a lot of these hotel companies coming out with all these new ideas. Hyatt came out with theirs, and Hyatt kind of went a different direction where they're kind of creating a hygiene manager that they're creating at the property. And then all the employees have to go through this hygiene manager training. And this hygiene manager within Hyatt has to basically keep up the standards at the property. So I think, like I was saying last week, one of the things we're going to be seeing is we're going to be driving this car as we build it. There's going to be a lot of new things coming out. There's going to be a lot of new hotels offering new programs, new sanitation guidelines, new contractual clauses, new operational guidelines, new items as far as convention services, as far as their food and beverage and banquets go. So you're going to see a lot of changes coming in that area. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to share that with your hotel and meeting planner partners, because I think everybody's looking for the best way to take care of each other. So I did want to check in with my good friend Brian Bruce here, who's helping us run this Be Live app event. Brian, do we have any of our online contacts here yet?
We were expecting to have two guests, but they're both having technical difficulties, and it's
Okay.
because they're working on their hotel laptop.
Okay.
And in the case of Troy, he's on the hotel Wi-Fi, and he's going to having some connectivity issues in terms of the firewall. So
Okay.
standing by, and if I see them, I'll bring them in.
Okay.
In the meantime, if anybody has any questions for Mark, please put them in the comments, and we'll fire them on the screen so Mark can take care of that.
That's perfect. Thank you, Brian. And as we kind of move along in this technological world, obviously we are trying to, do our best with getting people on board and helping them answer some of their questions. So if you have questions for me, please feel free to type them in the comment section of the Facebook Live event that you're watching there today, and they'll pop up on the screen and I'll answer them one by one. A couple other things I think that you're seeing is really the hotels really start to ramp up this cleaning program, like I was talking about before. A lot of them are coming in probably August, September timeframe. I think Hyatt's program is coming out in September, and you're seeing a lot of changes within the standard operating procedures of properties. So a couple other things I want to mention before we get our guests on is, obviously, if you have a hotel contract and you don't know what to do, feel free to email it over to me at mdallman@hpnglobal.com. I'll take a look at it. Even if I didn't book the contract for you, I have no problem giving you some honest advice on what type of options you have out there, and what else you can do as far as the program itself, and whether we're talking about rooms profit, if we're talking about cancellation, if we're talking about force majeure, we're talking about lift and shifts and moving dates, any of those, please let me know how I can help. Another thing that we've talked about before on this call is the state and city gathering bans. I think, as you've seen this week also, one of the things that's been happening is you've seen some states start to open up, some states are moving back, but the gathering bans and the White House guidelines for the 3 stages are going to be very important moving forward. So if you need that state and city guideline, we are actually updating that on a daily basis, and it's something that we provide for free for you. So it's something that I would highly recommend, because I think as we move forward, as your events start to come in the third, fourth quarter here, it's going to be vital for you to know what cities are open, what the guidelines are, what the gathering bans are, because those are going to be important information when you're moving forward with your attendees and with your leadership. So if you have questions on that, please let me know. The other thing is virtual meetings. We talked about this a little bit last week with Jill Dasher, who's in our meeting services department. And obviously a lot of people are moving to a partial or full virtual meeting component for their program. So if virtual is something that you want to look into, something that you don't know anything about, something that you want to get more information on, please let me know. We'd be more than happy to put you in touch with Jill and her team and get you some options, some proposals, and get you some pricing if that's something that you're looking for right now. The other thing is the coronavirus contingency plan. That's another thing I would highly recommend. This is from our good friends at Emergency Concierge International. It is a contingency plan put together just for the coronavirus, and it really gets a step-by-step guideline of what you need to do with your meetings and with your groups moving forward. So definitely something I would highly recommend at this point. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section there. Be more than happy to answer anything that comes up. I want to thank everybody. B, are you seeing other city CVBs with dynamic sales ideas I can share with the group? Hey, B, thanks for that question. You know what? I'm honestly not. This was the first one that I've seen from Indy, and I have to tell you, the Indianapolis Bureau has always been fantastic. They have always been a step ahead of the game in something like this. They have a great package there in Indianapolis. But yeah, surprisingly, I have not seen any other CVB offers per se that have come through in that type of format when it's a kind of a city and a hotel um, type of item. But I can tell you, with Indy putting that out this week, I can guarantee you we'll probably have 6 more of those next week. So please be on the lookout for those. That will be information that I'll definitely talk about next week if anything new comes out, because I think that's important information. Because really, what it gets down to is there's a lot of people that still need to, not only if they have an existing meeting, but maybe a new meeting they need to place by the end of the year. Having the no attrition and a limited cancellation is vitally important, because there's so many people that don't know what their room block's going to look like. They don't know what their attendance is going to look like. So having that flexibility is fantastic. I can tell you, I believe Omni Hotels also has been putting out some information. That's something that I can provide at a later time, but I believe also Omni was one that was doing some zero attrition offers. So, yes, there we go. Susie, thank you, Susie. Susie's actually our single point of contact for Omni Hotels, and also some virtual packages to choose from. Thank you, Susie. It's always great to hear from you. Yeah, Omni's always been a fantastic hotel partner, and they've always been able to help us out with a lot of different deals. They have some fantastic hotels all over the country, and they are also, there's some information I think you can check on their website for what Omni is doing also. And obviously the virtual packages is definitely something that is, I think, really come out of nowhere for a lot of planners. So that is some important information to take a look at. And again, if you need help on the virtual side, definitely let me know. Guidelines, absolutely. Julie, be more than happy to send guidelines. Let me know which guidelines if you're referring to the contingency plan guidelines or the guidelines you're looking at. Please shoot me an email at mdallman@hpnglobal.com, and I'll go ahead and get those over to you right away, because that is free information we're providing. So be more than happy to help out with that. So Julie, thank you for the question. We have a contract with the hotels affiliated with Marriott, but not a Marriott property wants us to pay fully, even with moving date. Yeah, Julie, I'm going to guess that these dates are most likely in the fall, probably a September, October, November program. And that's where we've been really running into a lot of, I don't want to say resistance, but it's hard for a lot of hotels now as they are trying to get through everything, to try and really move programs out of the third and fourth quarter when the hotel knows it's going to be open. The hotel knows that transportation should be back during that time frame. That is something that they run into. But Julie, what I would recommend, email that contract over to me, and I will take a look at it, give you some options, and give you some suggestions on that. But that is something that is very familiar right now. I think what we're running into is a lot of fall programs with groups that want to cancel, and the hotels are staying firm on cancellation and what's in the contract. A couple suggestions that I would recommend right off the bat that I've gone over with other planners is paying rooms profit, not the room's revenue, paying food and beverage profit, not a food and beverage minimum, getting a rebook into the contract or into the addendum, whatever it may be, so that if you are going to pay any cancellation dollars, those dollars can go into your future program that you book with the property. So I would definitely look at that. So those are a couple items I would recommend right off the bat. But again, those are some negotiations that I would recommend. And again, it's hotel by hotel, it's contract by contract. But I would really recommend send it over to me. Let me take a look at it, and we can see what we can do for you on that. Because I can tell you, I've been able to help out a lot of planners over the last couple of weeks with some deals that I was not involved in at all until we needed to move or we needed to switch dates. So send that over to me. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it for you and give you some options. So, but thank you for that question. That is, we are seeing that more and more. And I think that's the thing that a lot of planners are dealing with are these late 2020 programs and seeing what their options are to cancel or move out of those dates. The other recommendation I would make that we've talked about before on this call is really seeing if you can set up a review date with the hotel. So maybe you have, for example, a September or October program. Maybe you set up a time in June to meet with a hotel over the phone or whatever it may be, and basically review the room block, review the food and beverage minimum, review the meeting space agenda if there's any changes in that. And again, that's the perfect time also to say, hey, you know what? I also need maybe a lower group room rate if you need to adjust that at all. Or maybe I need to look at moving this into 2021 or 2022. So you also have to realize, especially with our hotel partners right now, there's going to be a little bit of give and take. So if they're going to release you of some liability this year, you need to try and get some future business to them in the following year, in 21 or 22 or whatever it may be. And we've been able to throw that into a couple of different deals that I've done with some of my clients and some of the people that have contacted me from this Facebook Live call. We've been able to get them out of contractual cancellation for this year based on them sending future business to the property. That is definitely something that's important. Julie, you're welcome. I'm here to help. That's why I'm a meeting planner's best friend. I've always been doing this and want to make sure I'm here to helping everybody. So you mentioned what you have to do for meetings specific to COVID. What was a resource? Basically, we work with Emergency Concierge International. They're basically kind of I guess you'd call them a security firm for the most part, that help with on-site security and programs for groups. And what they have done, and we are partners with them, they have put together a coronavirus contingency plan. It's basically a checklist for you to really go over different items, go over a different checklist that you need to prepare for going into new events and new items. So that is definitely a report I would highly recommend. We have that here. Send me an email. I'll be more than happy to send it over to you. But our friends there at Emergency Concierge have been fantastic in providing that kind of information for us and for all of our planners. So they've been great. But yeah, the COVID thing it's been hard, and it's changing everything. It's changing. One of the things I think a lot of people have realized is that it's going to change the room sets. It's going to change how you set up a general session room. It's going to change how you set up breaks. I can even tell you that I'm having a couple friends over for a pool party this weekend, and we're talking about just having individual sandwiches. I had to buy individual snack packs of chips and things like that. And even in your own specific world, you're thinking about individual type of grab and go items. And I think you're going to see that more and more with the hotel properties. You're going to see grab and go items for breaks, grab and go items for lunches, whatever it may be. I think all of us can remember when we would go through a deli buffet line, basically, and you're making your own sandwiches and you're slopping the mustard on there and the meats and cheeses, and you're not going to see that anymore. You're going to see individual sandwiches. You're going to see a lot. Box lunches are suddenly going to be the new rage, I think, with all of banquet type of lunches moving forward. So, yes, Julie, absolutely. We'll definitely send you the guidelines. Absolutely. And just so you know, shoot me that email. We'd be more than happy to get that going. So, hey, Brian, I'm sorry. I can't hear you on this end over here.
So sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
I'm going to try to bring in Maribel right now.
Okay, perfect.
See if she's working here.
Okay.
Maribel, can you hear us?
So close.
Yeah, so close. Okay, nice try there. Let's see.
All right. The one of the people we're trying to get into the call here is Maribel Denner. She's director of sales at the JW Marriott in Anaheim, new resort there. So hopefully we'll get her on the line here before the call is done. Just refer to client as having to include another properties contract. Hey, Meg, I appreciate that. Yes, a lot of things that I do are referrals from other people. So thank you, because I think every one of us in the meeting planning world, or even if you're a hotelier, I think a lot of people realize that they know people who are having a situation or going through drama or not getting out of a cancellation or really don't know what to do. Like I've told a lot of people, I have honestly worked on more hotel contracts from brand new clients than existing clients as far as cancellations and rebooks and lift and shifts and things like that. So I think even when PCMA did their uh, survey that came out a week or two ago, there was still 60% of meeting planners out of 1,700 out of the survey that they did that were still looking to cancel or reschedule an existing meeting. So I know there's a huge demand out there. So Meg, I appreciate that very much. I appreciate all the referrals and definitely will help them out as much as possible. So like I said, email it over to me. Let me take a look at it. There's no cost for my services. Be more than happy to help. So I've been doing it. It's amazing that this is actually my sixth Facebook Live call. And I really put it together because I realized that there was such a demand for people who had questions, people who didn't know what to do, people who suddenly had contracts and, hey, the United States Virgin Islands CVB, Mauricio, always good to see you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks for being on the call. Yes. Yeah, we've got a lot of great bureau friends, a lot of great hotel friends, and we're really here to support everybody. So please let me know what I can do to help. There's a lot of great people putting together a lot of great information for us. But I think as we start to see this come out, I think we're just at the initial stages right now where we're starting to see information come out as far as a lot of these bureau programs like Visit Indy did. I think obviously we're seeing the cleaning programs coming out now from Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, all the big ones. But I think you're also going to start seeing programs come out from them for 2020 business because I think they're realizing that this isn't going to be just flip the switch type of business back into their properties. I think they're realizing that this is basically like a huge aircraft carrier that you're just slowly trying to turn around and get back in the right direction. So group business is going to be vital moving forward. And I think one of the things we talked about on one of our early Facebook calls with my CEO, Bill Kilberg, was that we see one of the best hotel buying opportunities of all time coming out because there's going to be a lot of hotels that need business. There's going to be a lot better concessions available. There's going to be a lot of hotels fighting for business, I think. So I think that's going to be something that we need to look for. And again, like I said before, there's a lot of great deals out there. Again, I just signed a deal with no attrition and no cancellation until 4 days prior that came up. So, well, hello, Tassi. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of great deals out there. So before you go and just go back to specific properties, things like that, see what else is out there. One of the things that we do is we're able to really search an entire city for you and really take a look at a lot of different options. Whether it's a Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, maybe it's an independent property, whatever it may be. We search any hotel in any city around the world. So we're more than happy to help out with any of that to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. So, but all right. Any other questions from any of our Facebook fans out here? Anything else that's come up? Hey, Brian, do we have Mary Bell on the line yet?
Nope, she's looks like she was connected but couldn't quite get through the firewall. So
Okay.
kind of out of gas on that one.
Okay.
We'll make sure we get it working out for the next one.
Okay. No problem.
Looks like the questions are winding down.
Okay.
So.
All right. Perfect. All right. Any other questions from anybody else right now that have come up? Feel free to just type them right in the comment section there, the Facebook Live post. Be more than happy to answer any questions as they come in. So, well, again, I want to thank our hotel partners. I want to thank our hotel salespeople. There's so many of you that have been furloughed, have been laid off. There's so many. Hello, Tracy. Well, nice to have you from Georgia. Pleasure to have you on the call. I think a lot of our, there's even just a couple funny stories that I can tell. And I was hoping to have some of our directors on the line today to go over some of this. But even, oh, Erica, how are you? Always good to see you, Erica. Erica was on our last Facebook Live call as a guest. Learn more about these virtual packages from hotels. Yes, I think a lot of planners are starting to realize, okay, well, before it was just about rooms and space and BEOs and, what the hell do I do with all this virtual stuff? I've never done virtual. I don't know what virtual is or how much it costs or what's a good price. So yes, Erica will definitely start talking about virtual I think maybe in our next call or next week or the week after that, I think we'll do a full session on virtual because it's coming up more and more with everybody that I think it's something that we need to address and something that we need to go over with everybody. And hopefully there's some new packages and new programs coming out. Like our friend Susie from Omni was saying, she had some different packages that Omni had put together. So I think you're going to see more and more. Hey, how are you? Is it Maribel? I think we've got Maribel on the line here as she adjusts her phone.
I got on, yes.
Yes, perfect. How are you?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know what was happening.
That's okay.
Good,
That's all
good.
right.
Thank you.
Good. Hey, Brian, do we have, is everything set on as far as her setup?
Yep, she's there. All she needs
Okay.
to do,
Right.
she just needs.
Sorry about that.
That's no worries. Thanks for persevering. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Change it.
We're in
Perfect.
business now.
All right. Hey, perfect. Hey, Maribel. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you
Uh,
so much for.
it's just hard. I'm hearing echoes, but I'm gonna try my best.
No problem. Hey, I appreciate you being here.
Hello.
And I want to introduce everybody to Maribel Denner. She's the Director of Sales and Marketing at the beautiful JW Marriott Anaheim Resort. And obviously a 31 years, Maribel. That's amazing.
Yes.
So
Crazy.
congratulations on that. And thank you for joining us. And
Thank
obviously you've been, the president on the board of the MPI Southern California chapter also. So you obviously have a ton of
you.
experience to share with us. So why don't you just tell our planners and our hoteliers out here what is life like for you right now? What are you dealing with? Because you've been a director of sales for so long at so many properties. What can you share with the group here?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is very difficult situation for everyone, right? It's something that we've never seen before. I mean, having
Mm-hmm.
been with the company for 31 years, we certainly have seen all the ups and downs of, from the 9/11 to the economic down 2008 and, something that, even in the 90s.
Right.
For me right now, we were gearing up to opening the hotel March 16th
Okay.
and have hired and trained so many of our associates, at least 130, 140 of our associates who are so excited to open the new,
Mm-hmm.
luxury hotel in Anaheim that's really going to change the scope, right, of luxury accommodation in Anaheim. And then 2 days before opening, we had to call everyone and tell them that they are temporarily laid off.
Oh, 2 days.
Because
Ouch.
yeah, two
Uh,
days before
gosh.
we had to do a a
Yeah.
meeting with everybody, a town hall meeting with everyone, which is really sad,
Right.
when you see people excited to to be part of this opening. And unfortunately in Anaheim, there are two big demand generators, right? You've got the convention center, you've got
Yep.
Disneyland, and both obviously are
Yep.
not fully functional at the moment. And so for me, having to furlough my entire sales team, really, and
Mm.
events team, right? So
Right.
it's just me working right now.
Right.
I
So
mean,
do you
it's me, executive committee.
Right. So do you find that, and the thing that I've heard from a lot of directors of sales and marketing like yourself is that you've basically been put in the spot where you have to furlough your entire sales staff, but then you are left at the hotel to send out all the proposals, send out the contracts, respond to the
Correct.
RFPs. So you're
Correct.
a almost like a one person show right now.
I am, but luckily for me, we are managed, and
Okay.
we are part of the shared service with
Okay.
Marriott. So I do have a group sales team and an area sales team that helps in
Okay. Good.
responding to the leads.
Okay.
The one that I am responsible for mainly, that really takes up most of my time, the citywide leads are still coming through, right?
Right.
Because still
Right.
look for the future.
Right.
Local catering is still coming through. Believe it or not, weddings are crazy right now. Wedding
Really.
leads are crazy.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's because a lot of people have time in their hands. And so
Mm-hmm.
people who are wanting to get married are trying to see what are the venues that they can potentially use for
Right.
their event. The challenge is, they want information from you, but they're not necessarily responding back with some dates. So
Right.
you're just spending your time trying to provide all this different information, but not really
Right.
getting a solid answer as to how you move the process forward,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I think that's a challenge right now. But nevertheless, listen, at the end of the day, I'm happy I still have a job. I feel bad for
Right.
the folks that do not.
Yeah.
And I am working limited schedule. So I
Right.
don't work 5 days a week. I really work 2 days a week right now, but
Right.
have to just spend half days Monday
Right.
through Thursday, just so I can cover as much as I can. And again, having the support of the group sales team, with some really incredible sales professionals that are able to respond to these leads, especially
Right.
like you. I'm working with you on something with
Yeah.
with Kurt.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. Really takes up most of my time right now, and working with addendums and amendments for groups that we have definitely, because even though we weren't open yet, we have some solid
Right.
groups on the
Right.
book for May, June, July that are either don't want to pursue it because of what's happening, or financially they don't know if they'll have the means to be
Right.
able to support the program that they want. So just working on those, trying to be as flexible as I can in regards to how do we still, because at the end of the day, I think we have to maintain our relationships, right? It's the
Right.
only
Of course.
that really holds us together as a community, as a meetings industry.
Absolutely.
So for me,
Absolutely.
it's all about how do I partner with my customers and my clients
Yep.
and still maintain my accountability to my owners and
Right.
really to staff, right?
Right.
Because we want to keep those groups as much as we can. So when we open, we have hours that we can provide these associates that are relying on those to be able to support their family.
Right, right. And I think that's the tough thing too, right? Is that you've got so many salespeople that have been laid off or furloughed, and you're trying to obviously do everything you can to get them back on property and get these people their jobs. I remember when I was a director of sales, one of the things I always told my salespeople is that when you're booking a piece of business, you're not only booking business into the hotel, but you're creating jobs for people. And I think
Absolutely.
that's got to be something that you've got to feel, you feel bad obviously because of the business that you're losing, but you almost feel worse because of the jobs that you're losing when some of these groups are canceling and want to get out of their contracts right now, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, and I've always lived by that, right? And it's
Right.
never just about me securing the opportunity. It's providing the hours, to our
Right.
associates. They rely on
Right.
us. We are the revenue generating department, right?
Right.
Without us,
Right.
operationally, they cannot function. So,
Right. Yeah. One of the questions that came up on our call here from somebody was with the layoffs, uh,
mhm.
they're worried about service. So they're worried about, once you open up, do you have new plans as far as service or things like that? Because I know that's a big concern for people. Once again, like I was telling people, especially with a property like yours, same thing. Like it's like a brand new property. So you
Mhm.
have to train all your staff again. You have to go through all these new sanitation guidelines and all these new corporate guidelines that are coming
Yes.
out. So it's like you're opening a brand
Yeah.
new hotel. So
Yeah. I mean, for us, right? I mean, obviously, we have to, and I can only speak for my hotel and what we're
right,
doing
of
as
course,
as a team. um,
right.
we're definitely looking at scenarios, what it would look
Mm-hmm.
like if we were to open, what are the phases that we will open it at, what are the
Right,
necessary or essential departments
right.
that need to be opened.
Yep.
And then take a look at, from an occupancy perspective, how do we sustain,
Right,
right, the
right.
level of service that guests and customers are expecting from us,
Mm-hmm.
and still be able to now provide the new way
Right.
of really the cleaning. I mean, we have the good thing is Marriott really has some strong corporate guidelines, right,
Mm-hmm.
on how we're
Right.
managing the new ways of cleaning, the new ways of dealing, especially with banquets. I mean, I think all of us in the meetings industry, we can all be transparent in saying that it's
Mm-hmm.
all about maximizing space, right?
Right.
For
Right.
the space. How do you change that thought process now that there's the social distancing is a
Mm-hmm.
major component,
Right.
right, of
Well,
what we need to consider when
right.
bidding, and
Right.
when customers are, when you're providing your RFPs,
Mm-hmm.
um, notifying on your comment section what is required, what is your expectation
Right.
of what that would look
Right. And that's a great question. And I guess another great question I have for you as you move forward, and I think this is a question that a lot of people have that's, again, it's hard because there's so many unknowns, but as you're talking with your food and beverage staff and banquet staff and guidelines you're putting together, what do you see some of the food and beverage changes as far as breaks and breakfast and lunches and buffets and things like that? Have you kind of talked through some of those different options or scenarios, or kind of brainstorm on some new ways to do that? Because I think a lot of planners are kind of worried about what that's going to look like now. What's my lunch going to look like? If I can't have lunch in a hallway type of thing with a
Yeah.
full buffet, what other options are out there? Are there?
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I know that
Right.
from our end, we haven't really had that conversation because again, we're
Okay.
not open. We're
Right.
gearing up to just
Right.
opening. But
Right.
yeah, I engage with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of peers,
Right.
both within, meeting planning side and also on the hotel side. And I think all of us, we recognize that there is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a shift,
Right.
right?
Obviously, yes.
I think that me as a betting person, I think
Mm-hmm.
more people are going to go into the route of a grab and go items. What
Right.
that may look like, I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Buffet is something that a lot of people want because it's a cost savings for them, right? To do buffet
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. I
Right.
don't know what that's going to look like,
Right.
honestly. I think we're in a situation where we don't know what we don't know until we get there,
Right. Exactly. And I
right?
think, and yeah, that's one of the things I've talked about on the call is that it's kind of like we're building the car as we start to drive it. There's new things coming up that we need to, put together. So I think it's hard for a lot of people to really realize what it's going to look like until we actually get there, until we have those groups in house and kind of see
Yeah,
what works, what doesn't work. Every hotel company is going to maybe try something different, or every hotel is going to try something different. So I know it's
yeah.
kind of a trying time. I also have to mention, I see your happy birthday balloon in the background. Is it your birthday or a
Uh,
friend's birthday?
no, it was back in April. The balloon is still up. That's the thing, right? I mean, you asked what
Right,
something fun, and I think all of us are just wow, living life very differently. I mean,
right,
I have five grandchildren that I don't see, and
right.
they only see me through FaceTime. I mean, thank
Yeah,
goodness for technology, right? I'm
right,
still able to see them
right,
grow up,
right.
but it's a completely different
Yeah,
world.
yeah. It's definitely a different world. Um, One other question for you on the sales process moving forward. How do you and obviously you're trying to get your sales staff back, trying to get your assistants back, or assistants at the hotel. How do you kind of see all of this changing? And again, you're a vet over 30 years in the industry. I've been in the industry over 30 years. I think it's this whole situation is really going to change the hotel sales process. Do you have any thoughts or ideas or see how that's going to work or anything moving forward?
I don't know from a sales process perspective. I think that flexibility is a key right now. I
Yeah.
think more, like I alluded earlier, I think more than ever, we need to be able to be as transparent as we can be
Hmm.
with each other, and
Right.
focus more on customer engagement, right?
Right.
Do
Right.
we How do we come together as one so that
Hmm.
you know we always say we need to create a win-win solution, but I think
Hmm.
more than at any time, this is the time that we really need to understand that that's what we're here to do,
Right.
right? i
Right.
know i know I've heard some people that they're looking at this opportunity to be able to get some lower rates.
Hmm.
I don't know if necessarily that's the route that we need to go
Right.
to.
Right.
I think that there are still reasons why some
Hmm.
hotels could be higher than other
Right.
hotels.
Right.
And I
Absolutely.
think that, those are just things that we need to take on a case by case basis,
Right.
right? As far
Yeah.
as sales process, I don't think that'll ever change, to be honest with
Okay.
you. I think that the main thing I think that's worked even from when I was selling before there was all this technology piece, right? I mean, you all
Right. Right.
you know looking at papers, calling in files for everyone. I think
Hmm.
we were successful then because we were able to maintain great relationships with customer.
Right.
you know
Exactly.
the personal relationship, you know not so much as seeing each other, but maybe connecting with each other on the phone more, as
Hmm.
opposed to just sending email communication. That's
Right.
always been my preference. For
Hmm.
me, every time a customer sends an email, I always want to reach back out and see if there's a time for us to connect,
Right.
because I think there's a lot more that we can talk about,
Hmm.
rather than just sending
Right.
the email. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
That's just my preference,
I
and,
tell.
and definitely not the same for
Yep.
everyone, right?
Yep.
I'm just saying from my perspective and from
Right.
my learnings before,
Right.
I know that, you know, customer relationship is the number one priority, and I think that should always be the number one priority.
Right. And I think, as you know, when you have a great relationship with a client, it's not about the rate. It's about the client feeling comfortable with the
Yes.
relationship with their salesperson or with the hotel, knowing they're going to be taken care of.
Yes.
And I think you honestly bring up a great point, and I don't think this has been addressed enough, is that I think you'll see more of a deep connection with salespeople and their clients. It's not going to be, because I think we got into a point in the last year, maybe 2 years, of just email, blast, this, and nobody would even pick up the phone and talk to somebody to say, hey, you know what? How's your day going? Are you
Yeah.
doing okay? How are your pets? You know, how are your kids doing? And I think you're going to see more of a emotional connection, like you said,
Yeah.
between salespeople and their clients. And I think that's a great thing to bring up, because I think that's what I think a lot of people are realizing in these times, is that these emotional connections are so important to people, and they want people to know that you care about them and that you're going to take care of them and that everything's okay, type of
Yes.
thing. So the more you can connect emotionally, I think, with clients is going to be great for a lot of hotel salespeople. So,
I
and
think so.
obviously you were in the September 11th timeframe also as a director and all that. So for a lot of the younger salespeople that haven't really been in a downturn like this, what would you recommend to hotel salespeople that may be on this call and say, what do I do now? There's no business out there, and I'm not getting, because a lot of salespeople have just lived through the good times
Yeah.
where leads are coming in and they're just bidding on leads and booking business. They haven't really been in the trenches per
Yeah.
se when something bad happens and things like that. So, what would you recommend to new hotel salespeople that are about to get back into their hotels here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and have to start going after business? What would you recommend?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what I did. I mean, again, for me, it's all about just not just looking at the RFP and knowing, okay, it's about the dates, it's about the rates, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
about reaching out to the customer, either a third party or the end user, and really
Mm-hmm.
understanding what are the key important factors that will drive their decision in booking this
Right.
hotel,
Right.
right? I think we need to go back to basics almost. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
I tell my kids, I think what this current situation has done for all of us is
Mm-hmm.
allow us to step back and
Mm-hmm.
really understand the importance of living a simpler life, right?
Yes.
We
You're right.
are always going, thinking that we have to keep up with everything and everyone,
Right.
that we forget to just relax,
Right.
and
Just
that's
take
what
a
I'm
deep breath.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do that, and that's hard when you are for most of us in the industry, we're
Right.
A-type personality. We're
Right.
always on the go,
Right.
always want to please
Right.
people. We're in the hospitality industry that
Right.
the very core of
Right.
our value is all about service.
Right.
um and that's hard to do
It
during
is.
this time, but
Yeah.
I think they just need to take a deep breath, have a really thorough understanding of the scope of the program,
Mm-hmm.
besides just knowing the date and space. I think
Mm-hmm.
for me that's the most critical
Yeah.
component of it. Now the challenge is, Mark, you're still going to get a bunch of leads coming in, right, where you
Right.
don't have
Right.
a choice but to respond to space and dates, because I think um, a lot of RFPs that are coming up, they don't exactly are limiting it to certain hotels or certain
Mm-hmm.
cities or certain, and so they're putting a cast, they're putting a net out there and just
Right.
trying to see what kind of so that's
Right.
it's give or take, right? I mean,
Right.
we can respond and be more um, thorough about our responses if
Mm-hmm.
we're also getting leads that are specific to certain
Specific.
cities and destinations. Does that
Yeah.
make
No,
sense?
that's absolutely no.
Just let me
That's
find out, so who can get the best deal. I
right.
get it, but I don't know. It's a different situation, so I can't really
Yeah.
speak to what it's going to look like moving forward. But
Right. Right.
and again, I think relationship is a key.
Yeah.
Trying to maintain that, and how do you sustain that during this time?
Right. Yeah. No, I think, like you said, I think it's important not only on the emotional side of things with your clients and the RFPs that come in, but you really need to find out more about the RFP itself and the client and the group, not just dates, rates, and space. I think we've gotten so out of ourselves per se with the amount of leads and the spraying of almost spam like RFPs across the country, that I think a lot of people have lost touch with what's important as far as having those deep, important relationships with clients, picking up the phone and talking to somebody, really finding out what's important to them for that RFP. So, yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great information. So, one last question before I let you go. What's the funniest story that you've had from your hotel now that you've got this new life where you're basically doing everything and you've got all these new roles? What's the funniest thing that's happened since this has all kind of come about?
I don't know if it's really funny because again, we weren't open yet when this all
Right.
happened, but we obviously we had ordered all these things, all
Hmm.
perishable items, that we are hoping to when we open in like the next couple of days, the restaurant, I mean everything. But now, I mean, we're definitely, I mean, after that happened, it's funny, well, not funny, but almost great to see that all of those perishable items are now being given back to the associates, right? So it
Hmm.
almost be like this is your grocery store, pick what you want,
Really? Okay.
so that you can provide some, for your
Yeah.
family, because you don't
Right.
you don't also want to just leave it there and be rotting,
Right.
right? I mean, you might
Right.
as well just
That's a great idea.
leave.
Absolutely.
Again,
Help out.
on a personal, I think all of us are just whoever has had birthdays in the past months, I think it's very interesting that we celebrate our birthdays at home and
Right. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
be
No.
okay with it and actually be okay with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. My son's birthday. He's 18. He turned 18 on April 1st. So we had
oh
his
my
birthday
goodness.
just at home, and my wife's birthday was on March 26th. So I get it. We've had a lot of internal birthday parties at our house. So I know that's a difficult time. But hey, one more quick shout out. I appreciate you and appreciate all of your great advice. You've obviously been around the industry a long time. Obviously, you and I are working on a piece of business together too, which is
Yes.
fantastic. I'm very excited about that. But obviously, the JW Marriott Anaheim Resort, you guys are opening May 16th or 13th?
No, we actually pushed it to June 1st. Right
June
now, we are
1st.
scheduled to open June 1st, pending, of
Okay.
course, on what happens to
Right.
Disneyland. It is a
Okay.
leisure destination, so
Of course.
it may be pushed just depending on that. And that's just full transparency to everyone. And
Right.
what I'm excited about, and hopefully everybody gets a chance to see the hotel. Some of the great unique things that this hotel has. We have the very first disappearing art statue that
Okay.
welcomes the guests to the hotel, that depending on what angle you stand, the art completely disappears on you. We have the first augmented reality garden that we're
Okay.
trying to feature, which is really going to be amazing.
Hmm.
Obviously, the highest rooftop bar in Anaheim as well,
Okay.
that overlooks the fireworks
All
when
right.
Disneyland does open. So there's
Right.
a lot of great things about the property. We're very proud of the property. We were
Yep.
excited to showcase it to everyone. So
Okay.
I do hope we get an opportunity to work together on this group. I think your attendees are going to be amazingly surprised at the.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Maribel, I really appreciate you being on the call today. Thank you for getting through the technical difficulties and
Yes,
being here. You
great.
provide a lot of great information, and obviously, we want to make sure to celebrate our hotel partners and the hotel relationships that we have, and just thank you for everything that you guys are doing right now, because we know it's so difficult, especially for you as directors, to really run the sales process per se for your individual properties. So. Thank you very much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And hopefully, we'll be able to get a contract with your property very soon, and want to recommend
Thank
all
you.
my meeting planners send their RFPs out to my good friend Maribel here at the JW Marriott Anaheim Resort. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
Maribel. I appreciate it. Thanks for being on. So
Same here. Thank you.
perfect. Perfect. Thank you again. Hey, Brian, anything else going on right now? Anything else in the
Yeah,
queue?
I've got a few more questions here. Let's
Okay.
put them up
Perfect.
on the screen and you can go through them. And if
Okay.
anybody else has one, this is your shot. One
Okay. Fantastic. And obviously, I want to say thank you to Maribel, because it's just great getting a hotel's perspective. So, Julie, will hotels start limiting the size of the groups they can meet? Yeah, you have 17 people at your meetings. I think the thing that you're going to see with hotels, obviously, is the specs are going to change. So, as we've talked before, people aren't going to want to have 500 people in a general session room, theater style. So, they're going to see different setups. I think the thing that you're going to see short term, probably in the next 60 days, is just the gathering bans. So you're going to see the gathering bans come up, whether it's no more groups of 50 people, whatever maybe, hotels will be adhering to that. So again, the state and city guidelines that we provide are going to be very important. So I would definitely keep an eye on those. I don't see them limiting the size. They may just adjust the specs and the, you know, the, I guess the setups of their meeting rooms. But I don't see them really limiting the size of people at your meetings. That'll all be based on the state and city gathering bans that come out. So, but that's a great question. Leah, are you seeing hotel chains have a consistent message regarding cancellation policy, or is it property by property, contract by contract? Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, that's a great question. I think the thing that we've seen is it is all across the board. It really is. There are some hotels, I can tell you, for example, my good friend, and I brought this up on my call before, with the Westin Vancouver, we were able to move a group from September of 2020 to September of 2021 with no cancellation. Just do a simple date change, move it, done type of situation. But then we've also had other situations that have come up where the hotel is stringent on asking for every single dollar out of that cancellation charge. So it really is city by city, hotel by hotel. But I can tell you again, I said this before, 90% of the hotels that I've dealt with in this situation so far in the last 2-3 months have been very good and very fair. Again, if you have a program in September, October, you most likely are going to have to pay some type of cancellation charge. Again, it's not always going to be, waive the cancellation, no problem, book us next year type of situation. That is really case by case. So again, if you have questions on that, you're running into issues, let me know, shoot the contract over to me. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it for you. But no, I don't really see any consistency per se. I think, Hyatt's been great to work with. Marriott's been, good for the most part. Hilton's been good for the most part. So yeah, just random situations that have come up. That 10% have come up. But like I said, we were able to get a client out of $1 million cancellation charge for a program for this June by just putting some extra pressure on them and really, getting our leadership and our CEO involved and really having an open and honest conversation about, do you really want this to go to court? Do you really want to fight us on force majeure? Do you really want to go against, whatever these different items may be? So, let us put our power behind you if you're having some issues there. So, hey, Eli, how are you? My Star Wars friend. Do you think the new setups will last past 2021? Do you think we will go back to normal setups? I think, you know what? I think we will go back to normal setups. I don't see this setup process happening more than 12 months, honestly. I think by next summer, when you start looking at meetings in the fall of 2021, I think you will see more setups as people become more comfortable. I think as people become more accustomed to the new guidelines and regulations, I think room setups will go back to their normal. But again, some personal recommendations from me is that you start looking at some crescent rounds. You start looking at rooms around the edges of the room or chairs around the edge of the room for those people who don't want to sit at a table or sit classroom style or whatever it may be. So, but yeah, that's a great question. I do see that changing. So I think we're, as far as room setups and all the sanitation guidelines, as far as buffets and things like that, we're really going to be in a new era of food and beverage stations, food and beverage banquet service type of guidelines. And I got to say that the nice thing is, and all of us have joked that I've been in the industry for a long time, that, hotel food was hotel food, whether you're going to get chicken or beef type of thing. But I think over the last really 5 or 10 years, it's been absolutely fantastic. Hotels have come up with great ideas. Chefs are fantastic right now. They're flexible. They're able to work with us, work with different budgets, things like that. Yes, may the force be with you also, Eli. I appreciate that, my friend. So, but I think you're going to see a lot of great new options come out, I think, on the banquet side. But I think in the end, we will get back to the original setups with maybe just some small modifications by next year. But I think the next 12 months, you're going to see a lot of changes come up, and you're going to see people cleaning things everywhere. I don't think that's going to change for quite a while. Even like with Hyatt, basically having their own, hygiene manager that's hired at the hotel. You're going to see more and more of that. And I think as hotels kind of open up with groups, you're going to see them changing their process and changing their guidelines based on what other hotel companies are doing, what's working for them, what's not working. So you're going to see a lot of new things that are incorporated by different hotel companies that are suddenly taken on by other properties. So, and you saw that in the airlines also, where when JetBlue came out with having the mask required for all their passengers, suddenly American, Delta, and these other airlines came up. So, yes. Heather, hey, good to see you. Thanks for being a part of the call. I worked with Heather at the lovely Northland Inn in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. So she's my revenue manager there. Nice to see you, Heather. Hope you're doing well. So, any other questions out there? Anything else? Anybody? Okay. Well, hey, thank you again. I thought it was great. I'm glad we could finally get Maribel on the line there. I thought it was great information. And it's great to hear from a director of sales on really what's going on. We know there's so many of our hotel friends that are having a hard time. We know a lot of our hotel salespeople are furloughed. They've been laid off, sitting at home, trying to figure out if they're going to come back with their jobs. And like even Maribel said, a lot of us are A-type personalities. So us being at home is so hard right now. People really want to get back to work, and they really want to be there for our planners and things like that. But I thought she brought some great points. So for you hotel sales managers moving forward, once you get back into your hotels, once you get back into responding to RFPs, even if you're responding to RFPs now, make that emotional connection. Relationships matter. You see it on my tagline all the time. Very, very important. And no more just dates, rates, and space. If you want a piece of business, you got to put some effort into it and make an emotional connection. With Encore, are there any hotel concessions provided for meeting planners that are holding conferences in the fall for the front line? Hotel concessions provided for the meeting planners that are holding conferences in the fall for the front line health. What's the rest of that one? Brian, is there anything else in there? Yeah, I think
basically asking if there are any hotel concessions provided for meeting planners that are holding conferences in the fall for front of the line healthcare providers who are restricted from all conferences.
Okay. You know what? That is a great question that I do not have an answer for. We really haven't addressed that per se. I know our CEO, Bill Kilberg, has been involved in helping place some hotel workers and getting some room blocks at hotels around the country that are near some of the local hospitals. But as far as special concessions for some of the frontline workers, I believe Marriott came out with, I think Marriott had a special program out there, but that's a great question. Let us look into that a little bit further for you and see if there's some.
I have a very interesting one, Mark, I want to share with you.
Yeah.
I actually was going to do this internally, but while we're here, I have a group that's at the Marriott Brooklyn Bridge in July.
Yep. New York City.
New York City. They're going to be right on the bubble there, right?
Yep.
And I actually have a conference that's still planning to be at Caesar's Palace at the end of May.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're working on planning it right now. And then in June, we're in Miami, which, I feel better about. And in July, we're in Brooklyn.
Right.
Now, we know the hotel wants to honor the contract. We know it's probably not going to be force majeure. Who knows with gathering bans and whatnot.
Right.
What would you suggest me as an HPN Global Associate do for that? Am I asking the hotel for no attrition, or what am I doing? How am I handling it?
You know what, Brian? That's a great question. Thanks for asking. I think the thing that it's funny you asked that, because I actually have a group at the St. Regis in New York City in July also.
Okay.
And I was talking to a client the other day about it. And I think the thing and again, my personal recommendations that I've told planners are, if you're in June, you should probably reschedule for later dates or cancel, because I think anything in June, I think you're still you're on that bubble. Now in July, I always say in July, you should be good. But again, New York City, July, I think New York City is at least a good month behind a majority of the country. And you also have to realize, the thing I've told people is that, would you want to be an attendee going to New York City in July in that time frame? Probably not. So there's so much media blitz around New York and the death tolls and how it's a majority of the COVID deaths and everything going on, July's hard. If it were me, and this is what I'm doing with my client for July, I'm going back to the hotel and addressing the attrition. I'm going back and addressing the food and beverage minimum and rentals and just saying, hey, you know what? They still want to come, but it's going to be a smaller program. And you obviously know why. So let's work together and kind of, you know, basically just try and break even on this thing. So my suggestion in a July program, New York City, I would typically say cancel. But if it's a group that is pretty stringent on wanting to hold the meeting and not really get into that, then I would definitely contact the hotel immediately about adjusting. And really, again, I don't like to say cancel. It's more of just a review clause. So you're just reviewing the room block. You're reviewing the agenda. You're reviewing the F&B minimum. Because again, you know, like Kilberg would say, it's like, okay, the hotel had a full donut on a plate, and now you're basically giving them two donuts. You got a plate that's empty, and you got a plate that's got a smaller donut. So do you want the smaller donut, or do you want the plate with nothing on it now? So, and a lot of hotels are like, hey, we'll take anything. Just give us what you have. So,
Appreciate
yeah, that would be my suggestion, is to really look at renegotiating those items with a property.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
no,
get out of here. Thank you for doing
okay. Of course. All right. Hey, Melissa, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been doing these webinars now for about 6 weeks. So definitely, obviously, I'm here to help. So glad to be there. So Kevin, hey, I appreciate it. Yes, Kevin and I actually just got a piece of business done for the Hyatt in Cincinnati. So Kevin, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you very much. The best thing I can do is really be here as a resource, not only for my hotel friends, but also for the meeting planners I work with. So, and again, we talked today about hotel life moving forward. If there's anything I can help you out with, please let me know. You can email your hotel contracts to me for a free review at mdallman@hpnglobal.com. Make sure you're getting that state and city gathering band list so you know what's going on. We update that on a daily basis. It's also something that we're putting on our HPN Global website. Also, make sure that if you need a coronavirus type of contingency plan, we also have that available. So I'll be more than happy to help out. So thank you again to everybody who's on the call today. Thank you to my good friend Mary Bell from the JW Marriott in Anaheim. And please stay safe, take care of each other, and we'll see you next week.